Alright. I really have been trying to put on a brave face in the span of everything going on. I'm sure a lot of us have. You know, events had to be canceled, parties had to be canceled, stuff is delayed or postponed or whatever have you. And a vast majority of that stuff I could actually live with. But as of right now, and here's the thing. First I should probably say good morning, happy hump to everyone. Hope everyone had a wonderful Cinco de Mayo yesterday. Anyway, I've had my fair share of things taken away from me because of this whole quarantine, social distancing thing. Believe me, I have. I haven't been to Rita's since the day after the first day of spring. Stuff like the world's largest shamrock or, the polar bear plunge, outright canceled. And my point is, I've had to deal with a lot. But as of this morning, I have officially had all I could stand. I have. And this is what finally broke me. I just saw a tweet from, really it was a shared tweet from the Grand Line Review, but the tweet is from Ichiro Oda himself. Now, for those of you who don't know, Ichiro Oda is the author and creator of One Piece, which I am a huge fan of. I'm sure you probably already know. He just said that now, I should explain, he's perfectly fine. He's not sick at all. In fact, he's still drawing even as we speak, probably. Because remember, he gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning, works on One Piece all day, and goes to bed at 2 in the morning. Yes, he really is that dedicated to his work. And he's been doing that for the last almost 23 years. But what finally broke me is, in case you guys haven't already noticed, we've had an alarmingly large number of breaks this year. And now, the breaks are going to be even more frequent. I mean, I really should be counting my blessings as having any chapters of One Piece at all, in spite of how many breaks we've had, is certainly better than nothing. But, come on. I want to know what happens next. And, because seriously, I can't tell you how many chapters I've read in my life of One Piece where, something incredibly big or important happened right at the end of the chapter. And break. I am not even kidding. It's happened to me so many times. I mean, I think I know how to turn this around in a positive way. So, you know what? I don't want to feel bad anymore. I don't. I mean, yeah, it stinks that we're going to be getting a chapter this week. I know that for a fact. But the breaks themselves are going to be much more frequent, which infuriates me to no end because I'm really tired of this, of so much waiting, that is. So, I think to sort of, I think you guys could use a good laugh. So, how's this? So, I'm going to do this. I'm going to tell you the 2 worst instances, for me at least, in which One Piece immediately went on a weekly break or hiatus for a little bit, right when something really great happened. Like at the end. So, let's see, where do I begin? The first time happened at around chapter 597. For those of you who don't know, chapter 597 was the final chapter of the pre-time skip era. And I say pre-time skip because at the end, pretty much what the story was going to is, should our main protagonists, the Straw Hat Pirates, go into the second half of the Grand Line, aka the New World, they would get destroyed. And the Captain Luffy had figured that out right away. And for circumstances that would require spoilers for me to tell you, the entire crew was separated. But they still were aware of, global events going on. So Luffy sent out a message to his crew saying, listen, we're not strong enough to take on the New World yet. If we do, we're going to get hammered physically physically. And so take 2 years to train, prepare, make sure you get everything ready. And when we all meet back at that fated spot, we'll pick up right where we left off and we're just going gangbusters. And I'm like, I was never more hyped for what was to happen next than at that moment at the time. And then I saw the ill-fated One Piece will be on break. But not just any message, oh no. This is a very special chapter. Because it didn't say that One Piece was going on break for 1 week. It didn't say One Piece was going on break for 2 weeks. It didn't say it was going on break for 3 weeks. One Piece at that time, and this was very late August of 2010. One Piece will be on break for 1 month. So throughout all of September of 2010, and actually a little bit in October too, we had no One Piece. And I was starting out my sophomore year at Gettysburg College. Needless to say, at the time, that was the longest month of my life. And I'm like, Now, thankfully to tie this over, we did get some scans of what some characters are potentially going to look like moving forward. Actually, I take it back. We didn't. The first sort of scan or image I saw of Luffy for the time skip was chapter 598, when the series picked up afterwards. So, yeah, that was the longest month of my life. And needless to say, when things start picking up again, I'm like, well, first of all, tears came in my eyes when it finally came back. That was something. And needless to say, if there was ever a greater time to start being a fan of One Piece, it was then. Keep in mind, my history with One Piece is I did watch the 4Kids dub, and then it disappeared for a while, but then it sort of caught my eye several years later, and I started liking it again. To be perfectly honest, I started reading the manga at the latter half of the Marineford arc, which I will be getting into when we get to that in my arc thoughts. A little over a year and a half from now. So, needless to say, that was a great time to be a fan of One Piece. Because it was back and it was already better than ever. Now, funny enough, this second time I'm about to tell you is something I was going to do during my arc thoughts as well. When we got all the way to the Dressrosa arc. Now, if you've been watching my videos long enough, then you know I've hinted at one particular chapter during said arc. And that was chapter 783. Now, what happened in chapter 783? The basic part in that story was Luffy was finally one-on-one, mano-a-mano against the arc's main antagonist and longtime character in the series, Don Quixote del Flamingo. The thing about Doflamingo that you need to understand what I'm about to tell you is, this guy was an enigma because here's the thing, he appeared in the Jaya arc, which I'm going to be talking about later, and whenever he made an appearance, there was just some sort of eerie presence about him. You knew he was going to be an antagonist, but when? And it was the Just Rosa arc where, okay, we're finally going after this guy. Chapter 783 is when it really started getting mano-a-mano between Luffy and Doflamingo. And here's the thing. Doflamingo was very powerful. In fact, Luffy could almost do nothing against the guy. And then it happened. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to tell you is something that was introduced in the Enies Lobby arc and will now be more awesome as to why I'm explaining here. During the Enies Lobby arc, Luffy had figured out that he needed to get stronger in order to protect his crew. So he came up with a series of power-ups called Gears. Gear Second, or Second Gear. Well, they say Gear Second in Japanese, but Funimation calls it Gear Second Gear. Basically, Luffy increases his speed by increasing the blood flow in his body. Now remember, his body's made of rubber. Under normal circumstances, if your body is pumping blood at that speed, your heart would explode. But since Luffy's made of rubber, he can handle it. Third gear, Luffy is able to bite his thumb, or any part of his body, blow into it, and it becomes the size of that of a giant, which is awesome. So basically, you have one involving speed, one involving power. For a long time, people are often wondering, will there ever be a fourth gear, or a gear fourth? And then, chapter 783 happened. Let me paint the picture for you. In fact, you know what? Hold on a second. I gotta look this up. If I can actually find it. Sorry. Let's see, hold on. I'd rather show you what the dialogue was so you'd know. Hold on. Let's see. Hold still, will you? Sorry, ads keep popping up as I'm trying to show you this. Okay. Basically, at the end of the chapter, Luffy ultimately says to Don Quixote del Flamingo, "You're getting in my way. You made my friend cry, my comrades angry. Even after all that, you're still standing, so I'll take it all. I won't let anyone else die. You and your birdcage," because that's how Don Quixote del Flamingo was trapping everyone in the country, "are in my way." Fourth gear. The panel goes to black. And you see the kanji for the word fourth. My jaw dropped. And then it happened. I look to the bottom right-hand corner of the screen One Piece will be on hiatus next issue. No! Those were the longest 2 weeks of my life. Luckily, chapter 784 came out, and, well, I'd rather wait to tell you that when we get to it. But, yeah. So, not gonna lie. Actually, I do feel kind of better right now. Like, favorite, share, the subscribe button, follow me on social media, join me on YouTube. I am very humble in this video for all you guys watching today. Hopefully, you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful hump day. And remember, you guys want to talk, your channel with me, letting you know, I'll be back. Take care and make good choices. And get ready to watch The Masked Singer tonight. Bye.